else? He says, go, good morning. Okay, thank you, Nike. You know, and Kabiru now, obviously Kabiru did not answer you the first, so he's like, okay, good morning, and then you done it. You know, yes, I was speaking to somebody, and you know, a lot of times when you call into a call center, even though the agents say their names, how many of you actually remember their names? Most times you don't remember their names. So you find that when you now call, and then you know, you're like, hey, I called before, I was talking to somebody else, and you know, oh gosh, you people don't understand, you know, and you're repeating yourself. So you see how you end up getting frustrated. Okay. Kabiru said, name Ke. And then Kabiru goes, in fact, like 5 of them on one issue. Victoria relates that she doesn't know the name, that I don't. A lot of people, in fact, Daria says, I don't even pay attention to the name in the first place. Exactly, you know. But honestly, maybe because I had worked in that environment and I kind of know the limitations. Anytime I must get your name. So even when I call back, I'm like, please, I spoke with Ade Folani. Can you transfer me to Ade Folani? If they say, no, she's on a call or he's on a call, I say, okay, fine. Then that means I have to repeat my issue. Okay? So just a quick one, I just needed to chip in that, you know, when you're looking at the repeat customer. And then we're going to look at greeting the customer who has already shared their problem or request with you. And so we have the first one there. It says, hi. So again, let me just say, hi, Mr. Tom. Hope you're doing great. As I can see from your request that you wish to return your order with ID 001, let me know when I can initiate the return pickup. We have another example. Oh, sorry, that was the main example we had. So basically, what are the elements here? The elements are whatever it was. Let's assume it was a request. So here it was an order and there's an ID number. You make sure that you have the details. So can you see the difference? This is also a repeat customer, right? Mm-hmm. But this customer has already shared their problem. So when you are greeting them, you are remembering all the information. Whatever it was that they had shared, you are indicating it here. Okay? So, and I can see a comment from Tinu. She says, yes, especially when the call drops before the first rep could solve the issue and you have to repeat again. Oh, that's frustrating. Yes, Tinu. Honestly, it is frustrating. So a lot of times, you know, when your customer calls, so you see, we've looked at the repeat customer, we've looked at the customer that has already shared the problem, and we've looked at the things that you should take note of. So in looking at all of these things, you know, for you, like I always say, empathy, put yourself in the customer's shoes. And that's why, you know, I was very happy with the question that came through from Sakina about, okay, how do we know, you know, how do we know the repeat customer? If you're fortunate to have worked in, you're fortunate to work in an organization that has that CRM tool, fantastic. If not, please understand what the customer when they're calling, because remember, you don't have a CRM tool. So please be patient with them and have some empathy. Okay? So thank you all very much. Any questions at this point? Any questions? If you have any other question, you can put it in the chat. Okay. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. So we're going to role play. Let me see. Who is going to role play for us? Because we're going to role play each scenario. Okay. I'm trying to look at the names and see. There have been some very active people here. So let me see the ones that have not been active in these chats. Oh, fantastic. Oh, wow. Well done. Well done. I'm not seeing the clap. People are not encouraging these guys. This is Nollywood vibes, man. Well done. Well done. So I think we pretty much have grasped the whole concept, you know, of greeting the customer, you know, whether it's a first-time customer, repeat customer, and, you know, just to kind of like highlight, if you notice, a lot of times your repeat customer sounds very much like the customer that has already shared a problem, because, you know, most times they're repeating the call because they've shared a problem or they've requested something before. So it's kind of like a thin line between the two. So that's why you see I allowed them to continue. And you know, Emmanuel was giving us some irate customer vibes, right? But Chiamaka played it so cool, calm, and collected. So well done, guys, well done. And you know, Chiamaka, there was something you said, you know, you call back in 20 minutes. Let me tell you the honest truth. I don't know how many of you, maybe when you're buying power, do you know this app, Buy Power NG? So I don't know if you know it, but that's what I use to buy power. I don't even go to any Etiquette Electric or anywhere. That is what I use. And their customer service is fantastic. So there was let me just share a little story here. I like to share stories, sorry. So, you know, it makes it interesting and, you know, life experience. So there was a day I had bought my token and this was around like maybe 12 midnight, funny enough. I know the claim is a 24-hour call center. So I was like, I beg. So I just, okay, let me try. Immediately someone answers me. And what happened was apparently there was a general problem. And the person was like, they would call me back. And you know what the person said? He said, sorry, madam, if I call by 4 a.m., would that be okay? Because I can see that they're trying to resolve the issue. But will 4 a.m. be okay for you? I said, yeah, that's fine. At exactly 4 a.m., I got that call from that agent and it was resolved. So I'm just chipping that in to say, remember, when you promise, make sure you do it, because that totally changes the game. And you know, this is why I'm so passionate about customer service, because in Nigeria, customer service, honestly, and you see, it is not great. That's the truth. You know, even in some organizations that claim they do these trainings and all of that, right? You will still see that, because it's not about just training the guys, it's about performance managing the guys, also the agents, the customer service representatives. But I'm bringing in these things and, you know, chipping in these things so that, you know, there should be like reminders for you when you are on the job. Okay, so thank you everyone that role played fantastic work. Again, like I said, so the other sets that, you know, played the repeat customer, no, sorry, the customer with a repeated issue. That's, I think Francesca and Tino, you know, there was something Tino I just wanted to correct, because I know that it's a role play, right? But, you know, one of the things I noticed, you know, the information, the detail. So you must make sure you have your details. You must make sure you have your information. And, you know, when you talked about the phone, I know you were role playing, but what would have been the first thing you would have said when she complained about the SIM card? I think that was the first set. You know, the SIM card issue, your phone number. You know, so, you know, we did a role play, but I'm trying to pick out little things. Because, you know, sometimes when you're really out there on the field, right, you can tend to forget. So it's good to just look at what we've done and, you know, point this out. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. And next, we'll be looking at your voice and tone. I'm not going to overflog this because I did mention, and I remember I showed you, you know, when you're like this, how your voice, you know, and your tone is projected, you know, and then when you sit up, you find out that you sound more confident. When you sit up, you sound more confident, and you're able to, you know, you're able to portray the fact that I'm ready. Because when you sound confident, that's what you're telling me, the customer, that I'm ready to answer your calls. Okay? Of course, limiting interruptions, and you also maintain a professional engagement. Okay, so like I said, we will not overflow this, because again, you want the caller to know that you are taking the time to understand their issue. You're taking the time to understand what it is that they require so that you can deliver that prompt service to them. Okay, so please take note. You know, I've been stressing this voice and tone. If you recall from the beginning, I've done voice and tone because it is important. The customer cannot see you. The customer can only what? Hear you. So a lot of things you will portray from the voice. And I will know whether you are really ready for me or you are not. So thank you. We move on. We will now be looking at your call holding and transfer protocols. I'm trying to get us to go through this quickly because we still have another role play. I love role plays because, you know, most times when you do some things practically, you know, it kind of sticks, right? All right. So call holding and transfer protocols. Go back to the video. You know, if any of you can recall the video, the first thing was how she transferred the call, right? You don't say, oh, hold on. you remember the comments, you don't just say, hold on. So why do we even have a call holding come into play? Why would we have a transfer come into play? We would have all of that when you are really not in the position. Because sometimes, you need to escalate the issue to maybe your supervisor or to a manager. So it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's very fine. Don't think, no, it's okay. But when you are doing that, just make sure you're doing it properly. And a lot of times I tell people, when you're going to transfer, let the customer know you're transferring. So you're not just say, please hold on, bam, and then, you just bam, and then the next thing they're hearing another voice. Okay, so you could say, please hold on, Ms. Joyce. I would please like to transfer you to my supervisor. Are you fine with that? And you always confirm that the customer is fine with that. They will always be fine with that anyway, that's the ownership, but always confirm that is part of a transfer protocol. Okay, and even when you're holding on, you tell them why you are holding on. Please hold on, sir. I just want to check your profile. Please hold on, sir. I just want to confirm the payments. Okay, so please take note of that. Whenever you have to find yourself putting a customer on hold or having to transfer a call. Okay, and we will share some scripts again, with regards to call holding, with regards to the transfer protocol. Okay, so next slide, please, Nike. Okay, so we have some examples here. Hi, Mr. Tong, I understand your problem. Let's get it resolved for you. Do you mind if I transfer you to the expert who is the best suited specialist to help with your situation? I apologize for any inconvenience. Let me transfer you to Ruth so that they can help resolve the issue. Please hold for a second while I transfer you to the finance department. Sharon will be able to handle that for you. Who is responsible for this? I understand. I'm going to transfer you over to our technical department. They'll be able to help complete your request. Please hold for a moment while I get in touch with Felicia. I'm sorry, but the finance department is the one who can handle your problem. Let me put you through to them. Can I put you on hold for a moment? I'm going to transfer you to my supervisor so they can complete your order. So you can see, you must tell them why you're putting them on hold. You must tell them why you're transferring and who you're transferring to. So those are the key things to note when you're putting a customer on hold and when you're doing the transfer protocols. Okay, thank you so much. Sorry, at this point in time, any questions, any comments?
There is a question in the box.
Okay.
By Abiola.
Okay, what do you do when a customer refuses to be transferred? The honest truth is that from my experience, I had worked in the call center environment for over like 10 years. From my experience, when you explain why you are transferring them, they always want to be transferred. Because a lot of times they want, the key thing is they want their problem to be resolved. So honestly speaking, in all my experience, I've never had anybody that said they do not want to be transferred. Because remember, you're saying, sir, if they're telling you they don't want to be transferred, you need to explain further. Sir, I'm not in a position to be able to help you. They are the best people that can help you resolve this issue. You must let them understand and know who and why you are doing that transfer. Okay, Biola? But honestly speaking, once I've never had anybody say no to me when I've said I'm transferring, and I tell them why, because they know that their problem is going to be resolved. So they will never, they'll say, okay, if I'm most times I've even had the situation, I'm sure even some of you have done it yourselves, when you call in and say, can you transfer me to a supervisor? Who is guilty? Who is guilty? Who is guilty? I just asked a question. Have you been guilty of that? Can you transfer me to your supervisor? Transfer me to your manager. Or I want to see your manager. Who is guilty? Eh? All hands up if you are guilty. Oh, nobody is guilty. Hey. Ismail, thank you. Kabiru, thank you for acknowledging. Ayolua, she says very guilty. Chiamaka, yes, I'm guilty. So it happens. So you see that once I know that you're transferring because my problem is going to be resolved, I will be more than willing. Oh, Chiamaka said Fidelity Bank and her 2K. Akindele says, I've done that before with Airtel. Arowana says guilty in capital letters. Okay, you know what, Chiamaka, can you share this story of Fidelity Bank and your 2K? Can you share this story of Fidelity Bank and your 2K? Okay. Yeah, quickly, 2 minutes. Give us the story.
Okay, so I was wrongfully debited. I tried to buy airtime via USSD and I was debited twice. So I called them and they said they were going to resolve it. I called them the first week, waited second week, no issue. So I called them again and the lady was like, we're working on it. I said, no, we will die here today. People must be my 2K today by fire, by force. So I thought I wanted to speak to a supervisor.
So did she transfer you?
She did not, but I got it the next day. Maybe because I escalated the issue. Yeah, but I did not speak to a supervisor.
Oh, okay. So it's great. Let's share these stories, Let's share these stories. We learn from the stories that we share. Okay, so well done. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. Now, next, we'll be looking at closing the call. So we've seen how to greet. We've seen the different levels of engagement. We've seen how the transfer and the whole techniques work. Now, how do you close the call? How do you close your call? It is very important that your goodbye is cordial and still confirm from the customer, okay, if they still have any more questions, and then thank them. Always thank them for calling. Okay, I can see something from Tinuade here. The fear of transfer stems from loss of network during the transfer process, leading to you having to call back, waiting or listening to all the waiting song till you keep singing it in your dreams. Then not being able to connect and you having to try again and again. So is this an experience you've had, Tinuade? Because I think we've all had this experience actually. But the honest truth is, like I said, even if the fear of, of being cut off, because of network issues is there, I don't know if the agent public explained to you why they wanted to do the transfer. Did they explain why? Tinuade, you can unmute. Tinuade, you can unmute. Did they explain why?
They normally explain, but the issue is sometimes the first person would maybe close to the solution before they transfer everything, and then you're not losing network. Sometimes I even used to feel maybe they use the opportunity to run away, honestly.
To be
I know
honest,
they have overwhelming customers.
Yeah, so that experience, was it a bank? Was it a telco? Which you don't have to call the name of the organization.
Bank.
It was a bank. But did you get it resolved eventually?
Yes, that was when I summoned the courage to call back again. But that waiting time, sometimes it can be forever. You'll just be praying and praying to be picked.
So you see, that's actually a challenge. I mean, I don't deny that. It's one of the big challenges we have. And, when I was talking about the call center, in the first module I took, it's one of the things I explained to them because it's part of the, call center terminology, your wait time, right? So how long it takes for the customer to actually be able to get to you. So once they've called into the call center,
Nigeria.
Yeah, because once you've called into the call center, you're put on what you call the queue. And when you're on that queue, depending on, depending on how fast those calls are answered, you can be on the queue for so long. So I totally understand and I totally feel you. But most times what happens is you find that to be honest. The scheduling is either wrong or it's a case of they don't have enough hands.
I think the second is the case.
Yes, because usually, you know, for the call center is a very regimented environment, like I had explained in the first module. And what you have is, you know, when you come in, you're logged in, immediately you're logged in, everything you do on the system is recorded, you know. And at the end of the day, you know, you find that, you know, you're not answering. Yes. But like I said, that's why I gave you guys the story of my BiPower experience. They seem to have gotten it right. You know, I've never called BiPower and I've been put on hold for long. Max, I not even up to a minute. And somebody answers me. So, but with the bigger companies, you know, there's always that issue of cost cutting. So again, how many people are you going to employ? But the truth of it is that for every organization, it all depends on how important customer service is to you. If it's that important, you will put in all the resources to make sure that your customers are happy with you. Okay? Anyway, let's not digress too much on this because if you leave me now, I'll continue with call center. So let's go back to closing the call. Okay? Yes, so. Okay, somebody is not muted. Richard, you're not muted. Nuade, you're not muted. Richard, please mute. Thank you so much. Thank you. Right, so closing the call. Now we will look at examples of closing the call. Thank you for your call. Do you have any other questions or concerns? Great, thank you. Have a nice day. Thanks for using the 24-hour help service, and please feel free to reach out to us if you need anything else. Goodbye, Mr. Jones. I hope I was able to help you with yours. It was an absolute pleasure interacting with you today. So these are some examples, but you'll find that most times in our environment, what is the standard closing you have? Can somebody just tell me the standard closing you've noticed, especially with the telcos, with the banks? What's the standard closing you get? Anybody? Nobody? Kelvin.
Thank you for contacting MTN. Have a nice day.
Oh, very good. Thank you. Okay, now I'm seeing the comments coming in. Yes. So that's really the closing you get. It's usually the standard for most of these organizations. Okay. So again, do we have any questions? Okay, so I want two people to role play. So we're going to take it from the top. You can pick anyone, whether a repeat customer or anything, but we want a full call from the beginning, greeting the customer and the issue, and then closing the call. So I will, any volunteers, any takers? No takers, we will go ahead and nominate you as usual. Joyce, I can see Joyce Okere. Are you there? Don't hide though.
I can see Muri Arowolo's hand up.
Okay, great, thank you. And who else?
Did you put his hand down?
Muri, are you there?
Yes, ma.
Okay, thank you. So do you want to be the agent? Since you put your hand up first, I will give you that honor. Agent or the customer?
Agent, ma.
Agent, perfect. So Muri is going to be the agent. Can we get someone else for the customer? I had picked Joyce. Joyce, where are you? Where are you, Joyce? We are looking for you.
I think Dara is off mute. Maybe she wants to go. He or she wants to go.
Oh, Dara, you want to go ahead?
Okay, now Joyce's network is terrible, so she won't be able to.
Oh, Joyce, her network. Okay, yes, I've just seen that. Okay, Joyce, no problem. All of you, this network, this network.
Network.
You know, I'm from the north, just as a side joke. And you know, when my mom is from Kaduna, You know, you go to like this company and say, Nerok, this Nerok, this Nerok excuse. But no, wahala, we're in Nigeria.
Okay, Fola, you are to role play from the beginning to the end, greeting the customer, treating the issue, then closing the call.
And closing the call. Okay, so we have Muri and Fola.
Fola, do you want to go?
Okay, can you unmute yourselves? Muri and Fola, can we see can you please put on your cameras?
What's this?
Hello.
Finally.
Okay, so are you all there? Muri, we can see Muri, but we can't see Fola. Where's Fola?
I'm sorry, is it me?
Yes.
Oh,
Fire,
yes.
sorry, Fire, pardon me.
Oh, Fire. Okay, Fire. It's you, Fire.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Muri, I'm afraid we're seeing an angle we should not be seeing.
Abio. Sit up, right? You're an agent, remember? Body language.
Eh? He's showing us some legs.
I'm very sure. I can't seem to see my, so I don't even know what is on
Okay.
the screen.
So just put, yeah, so I think the problem is the camera is facing
Face it to your
outward.
change the position of
Face
the
it to
camera.
put it to your face.
Okay,
Switch the
ma.
camera to your face. You did that initially, so we saw your face initially.
How about now, ma?
Okay, we haven't seen you
See
yet.
darkness, oh.
It's a black screen.
Okay.
Oh, yes, great.
Perfect, ma'am.
Great, great, great. Great. So remember, you're going to do everything. So we're talking about the greeting, the issue, and then the closing.
Yes.
Okay? Okay, are we ready?
So sorry, am I the customer or the...
Yes, Muri had said he would be the agent, right? Muri, you said you wanted to be the agent.
Customer.
Oh, sorry, the customer, yes. So, Fire, you are the agent, yes.
No, I said I'll be the.
So
Pardon?
Fire is the customer, Muri is the agent.
Okay, Muri is agent. Okay, great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, Muri is the agent. Fire, you are the customer. So, we just want the full thing, what we've just learned now. Are we ready?
Sorry. You too, bye.
Okay, Fire. It's like you ended up like a happy customer because we saw you smiling and giggling. Well done, everybody. Oh, yeah. I can't see the clap. I'm not seeing the clap. I'm not seeing the clap. Encourage them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That wasn't easy because they had to do the full call, right? They did everything. Okay. Well done, well done, well done, well done. So just one or two things that we need to point out. Remember, Muri, when you wanted to check, you should have told her, please hold on. Yes, you said you were going to check, but you didn't actually say, hold on. Okay, so that was one of the things I noted. One of the other things I noted was you were quite informed. Do you guys think he was informed? For an agent, he was quite informed. You know, he knew that, okay, this probably would be the issue. And then he still checked. He was able to check. He went through the process of checking, right? So you showed that you were informed. Okay. And Fire was still trying to be a bit of an irate customer and all of that, you know. But at the end of the day, remember what I said, when you promise a customer something, make sure you follow through. So in as much as you said you were going to deactivate it, right? You should have followed up with, you know, telling her that you deactivate and maybe you call her back. Or you tell her when it's deactivated, maybe it's a message she's going to get. Okay, now Joyce is pointing out, said that you didn't ask for her name. Okay, so did anybody notice that? Muri didn't ask for her name. Yeah. But like I said, I know it's a role play, you know, so maybe nerves came in a little bit, but on the whole, I think, you know, you tried. Okay. Definitely, like, I mean, with the name thing, like I said, whichever organization you find yourself, there will be a standard opening for your calls. Okay. And there'll be a standard closing for your calls. But just to note, the fact that you must always, always, always have the little details in place. So again, don't overpromise and then you underdeliver. Whatever you tell the customer is going to be done, make sure that it's done. If it's a case of they would answer you, I mean, maybe it's like I said in this case, when she insisted that she wasn't going to do the deactivation, and you said that they will do the deactivation, I mean, the company will do the deactivation. What happens? How will she know? So you need to educate the customer to let them know. Okay, I can see Abiola, your hands are up. Is it a question? Abiola? Abiola Olabi, your hand is raised. Okay, it's a question. You want to unmute or you want to type it?
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for this very wonderful session. And I'm so sorry to bring you back to it, but I just remembered that when a customer care agent asks to transfer a customer, once the agent has been once the caller has been transferred to another agent, would the caller be transferred back to the initiating agent again?
No.
Okay.
Once you've transferred, the call has gone through to the next person.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah. Except if the person you transferred to now physically transfers back to you.
Oh, okay.
But once that's I tell you, they transfer back to you, and they also should be telling the customer, okay, you know what, I'm going to transfer you back to Abiola. And they should also tell you before they transfer Abiola, I'm going to transfer the customer, I've done that, yeah.
Okay, ma'am. So in the case where it is transferred back to me, do I need to ask the customer if the situation has been resolved, like if the person was well attended to, or should I just go on with the normal duties and end the call appropriately?
So whoever you transfer to, if that person is transferring back to you, the normal protocol and standard protocol is they will tell you. So when you tell the customer, please hold on, I'm going to transfer you. When you put the customer on hold and you transfer, you're not transferring straight. So you'll be talking to whoever you're transferring to first. Right? So when you put the customer on hold and you do a transfer, the customer can't hear you because they're on hold. But the person you're transferring to can hear you and you're explaining why you're doing the transfer. So the same thing, it all depends on what the scenario was. So depending on what it was, maybe there's something you can do to finalize that part of the process, which means that person that transfers back to you should tell you, Abiola, I'm transferring back the customer to you because I finished this and this and this, and then so you tidy up that process. Shikena.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, any other question or we're good to go? Can I see some thumbs up? Are we okay? Are we good to go? Should we go on? Thumbs up. I'm only seeing Abiola's thumbs up. Okay, fire. Thank you, Victoria. Victoria is giving me a smile with stars. Thank you. Dare, Sakina, clap. Kabirias, go on. Please go on. Okay, great, guys. So we are gradually coming to the end of this session, and we'll be rounding up with phone etiquette tips. The first one, 3 rings is enough. Now, you see, like I said, these phone etiquette tips are not just for the call center environment. In an organization, even if you don't answer customers, there was something I had mentioned that, when we were going through the slides, the fact that customers you should always know are of 2 types, internal customers and your external customers. Internal customers are your customers within the organization. So if you are in the call center, everybody else in the organization is your internal customer. If you are in finance, everybody else in that organization that is not in finance is your internal customer. But the very truth is also even your colleague is your internal customer. So these phone etiquette tips don't just work for the call center environment alone. Okay? They work for anybody in the organization. Because, sometimes let me even look at a small business. If you even find yourself working with a small business, for instance, and maybe it's just one phone, one official phone, this also applies. So the first thing first, 3 rings is enough. You should not allow your phone to ring more than 3 times before you answer. And then you should always listen first. Listen first because you need to hear what the customer is saying. No interruption. Don't, because maybe the customer has started, then you've done, oh, okay, yes, let them talk and you listen. And the next thing, remember I mentioned this, take notes. You can't be actively listening in a call center, or you're a customer service agent, or even anywhere, even sometimes the honest truth, sorry, I'm a Christian. So, I'll just use this example. When I'm in church, for me, actively listening is not just this, I take notes, okay? I take notes. Sometimes even to be honest, I'm very serious. Like sometimes maybe my children will want to discuss an issue. I don't do it as if it's just this, sometimes it's on my phone, I actually take the notes. So when I say, okay, so what you're trying to tell me is this, and I repeat it. So take notes. First impression often lasts longer. Make a good one. Remember what we talked about, the tone. If you're like this, I can hear you. I can feel your tone. If you're like this, I can hear because your tone is going to be totally different. So the impression you're giving me is that I don't care. Okay? Be empathic and kind always. Remember when I talked about empathy in the last not the module, the last part where we talked about the calls, right? Greeting. And I said, be empathic, because the true idea is that if you put yourself in the customer's shoes, okay, you read that, me too, I will not like it too. If somebody treats me, I won't like it. So be empathic, be kind. Match the customer's tone and language, but not negative tones. What does that mean? Now I'm going to give you a very good example here. Sometimes you can have the friendly customer calling, and they're like, hello, maybe you're like, good morning. Thank you for calling MTN. My name is Zabidatu. How may I help you today? And he goes, hi, Zabidatu. That name is a nice name. I've not heard that name before. Yes, sir. No, it's thank you. You told me I've not heard the name before. Okay. There's a baby that wants to join our session. Huda Suleiman, can you mute, please? But I think your baby.
Zabidatu, I muted you. Please kindly unmute yourself. Thank you.
Oh, hello. Sorry, I was muted by accident. Sorry. So, okay, so what was the last thing that I said before I was muted? Did you all hear me when I was talking about matching the customer's tone and language, but not negative tones? Okay, did you hear me when I talked about matching? Okay, number 6. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Kabiru, for letting me know that that's where we stopped. Okay, fantastic. And I was giving the example of matching the customer's tone and language, but not negative ones. So I gave an example because let me give an example. Like for me, my name, a lot of people will be like, hey, I've never heard that name before. Honestly, I've not met a namesake myself, okay? But so let me give you that example. So I was saying, okay, say, thank you for calling MTN. My name is Zabidatu. How may I help you today? Zabidatu. That name, where are you from? Good morning, sir. Yes, I'm from Borno. I'm from the north. I could hear it from your tone. That's nice. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm not still trying to be like, all, because the customer is a friendly customer, okay? But in as much as we are saying match your customer's tone, if your customer is irate, does not mean that you'll be irate too. And that's why we're saying, but not the negative ones. And then you also have, so let me give you a story again. So in MTN, when we finally started the 24-hour call center, right? Oh my goodness. The agents under, because the call center was divided into 3. We were 3 call center managers. So we all had like people in the night shift, and the night shift guys will always come and they would like, oh my goodness, the ladies. Because I don't know, there was something that used to happen around that 12 midnight, 1 a.m. whether the guys just decide that's when they want to call and just be toasting girls up and down. And you'll have people toasting the agents. They don't have an issue. They're just going to say, no, I like your voice. Now, that is not a positive interaction. I hope you know, because, That's not positive. So we had to actually now train them to be able to answer those kind of people. So they maintain the professionalism, and they would also still, like, sir, okay, I see that you don't have an issue, but is that all? So you kind of make them understand that they, as the agent, have to control the conversation. Okay? So just a side note, talking about customers too. Again, handling angry customer calls with confidence. When the customer is angry, I mean, we've all been there, where you've been so upset and you are raking, going. But when you meet an agent that's confident, right, that seems to know what they're doing, after a while, you find out, okay, you cool down because, the person is making sense. So for angry customers, make sure you have your information. Make sure you are confident. Let them not, if you're answering and they will hear it in the tone of your voice. And, they will bully you because that's the truth. Customers can bully you. So you need to make sure that the confidence is exuded, in your interaction with that customer, and then be prepared. Be prepared. There was something I said about Muri when they did the role play, right? And I said he had the information. So make sure you know all your products and services. Make sure you know everything. Even if you find yourself in just a customer service environment, right? So it's not like you're taking calls, and maybe it's not even products, maybe it's just whatever it is, just make sure you have all your information so you are prepared. And then block out distractions, be present. Of course, please, who knows the main distraction in our lives now? You all know. If there's an emoji to show it, can I see it in the chat group? We all know what's the major distraction in our lives right now.
Phones.
Yes, your phone. So the customer, you think the customer is not seeing you. So thank you for calling MTN. My name is Zabida2. How may I help you? You can sound distracted. You remember the customer is not seeing you, right? But you're going through your phone. Did you see how I answered? Because there's no way. One, I'm not even focused on looking at the screen. I'm looking at my phone, and I'm, it comes out. So please block out distractions, be present. Like I said, sometimes maybe there's no call, we're all gisting, because we're human beings, we have to interact. So maybe the call volumes are low, so maybe calls haven't really come in, and we're all gisting. Immediately the call is coming, adjust yourself and be present. Okay? Professionalism is key. We've talked about this before. Professionalism is key. And don't use slangs. Don't use slangs. So, in our environment, people get offended very easily when you use slangs. Make sure when you're communicating, remember the first thing I said, your communication should be clear. Okay? It doesn't have to be phonetic, but let it be clear. Let them know. And don't use slangs. People get very offended when slangs are used. Okay? I mean, slangs being used in an environment that should be professional. Okay. So, phone etiquette standards for organizations, right? Per organization. That's what we will be rounding up with today. And like I told you, yes, these are general phone etiquettes common to call centers. Like I've also mentioned the customer service environment. I've also mentioned even when you are in a department that is not a customer-facing department, right? But you have what you call your internal customers. Your colleagues are your internal customers, okay? So these phone etiquette standards, like I said, they will differ in how they're deployed. I told you some people, would always have their standard opening, for instance, for your call. So it is very important that you know and you adapt to your organization's delivery. So if your organization, what do I mean here? If your organization is, thank you for calling MTN, my name is Zabida2, how may I help you? Don't go and say, thank you for calling MTN, my name is Zabida2. How has your day been? Follow the standard of your organization. Because why I'm also saying that is sometimes maybe you find yourself, maybe you worked in MTN before, and now maybe you're in Airtel. You have to switch because it might be similar, but it's not exactly the same. Okay? So remember, this was what I was talking about, that this phone etiquette, the tips, everything we've learned today, These are general, but you would have those that are streamlined to your organization. All right, great. So on this note, we are rounding up, and I would want us to just go over what we have learned in this module, phone etiquette. We talked about what is phone etiquette, the phone call process. We looked at answering calls, your voice and tone, greeting the customers. Remember the 3 levels of engagements, call holding and transfer protocols. Remember, you must tell them why you're putting them on hold. You must tell them why you're transferring that call, closing the call, communication tips over the phone, and phone etiquette standards per organization. So thank you everyone for being with me here for almost 2 hours. Well done, well done. Thank you. And at this point, if you have any questions, please feel free. Let's have your questions. Thank you so much. Thank you.